Pyrocryptic X News is on the air. Time for your concise briefing on the digital asset space.
Happening now.
Today is May 6th, 2025. We're looking at some key movements for XRP and Stellar.
Right.
And also the growing conversation around President Trump and his crypto fundraising efforts.
Definitely making headlines.
Let's get right into what you need to know. This is Pyrocryptic X News.
Yeah, it's a really interesting mix we're seeing. You've got these established digital assets, new blockchain uses popping up, and then this high-profile political side.
Absolutely. It feels like traditional market stuff meeting completely new ways of fundraising, all happening super fast in crypto.
Exactly.
So let's talk about those fundraising strategies first. President Trump, he's got these 2 crypto dinners planned this month. They're certainly getting attention. One's a crypto and AI innovators dinner. Steep price tag there, $1.5 million.
Wow, yeah.
And then there's this other pretty unique gala dinner. It's just for the top holders of the Trumpy meme coin.
Right, the meme coin dinner. That one's interesting because access, even potentially a White House tour for the very top holders, it's tied directly to how many tokens you own.
Exactly. It's a totally novel way to approach political fundraising. And, well, it's raising some eyebrows, isn't it?
It really is. I think the main point of contention here is about access and, influence. When you have significant money, especially tracked on-chain like crypto, getting you direct FaceTime with political figures, well, that naturally brings scrutiny.
Yeah, you've already got lawmakers voicing concerns. People like Senator Warren, Representative Schiff.
Right. They're warning about exclusive access in exchange for significant investment. That's the worry.
And transparency is another big piece of this, especially with that Trump dinner. We don't actually know who the biggest holders are.
No, their identities aren't public, so you get speculation like from groups such as accountable.us.
Right, suggesting maybe Justin Sun is a big holder, or that a lot of it, maybe 80%, could be held by Trump affiliates.
It's all speculation at this point, but it highlights the transparency issue.
And interestingly, the TrimMP token itself, the price jumped quite a bit, over 50% reportedly right after these dinners were announced.
Yeah, the market reacted strongly, which, underlines how connected these political moves are to the crypto markets now.
So what are the sort of broader implications here, you think?
Well, on one hand, it shows crypto is becoming more mainstream, even in high-level politics and fundraising.
True.
But it also really throws a spotlight on the challenges. How do you regulate this? How do you ensure ethical practices with decentralized assets, sometimes anonymous transactions? It's tricky.
Yeah, and that market jump just shows how tightly finance and politics are getting linked in this space.
Definitely.
Okay, let's pivot a bit. Let's look at market activity, specifically XRP. Ripple put out a report for Q1 2025.
Right. Saw that May 5th report.
And it shows trading volume held pretty steady, around $3.2 billion on the top exchanges.
Which is significant. That volume puts XRP right behind Bitcoin and Ethereum. Only those two had more.
So it suggests continued strong interest, yeah, from both regular traders and bigger institutions.
Seems so. And Binance is still the big player for XRP volume, about 40%. Then you've got Upbit and Coinbase following.
Bybit's share dipped, though, apparently due to a hack back in February.
Yeah, that makes sense. Stablecoin pairs, mainly USDT, are still dominating the trading. Fiat pairs ticked up slightly, but still under 30%.
And XRP actually outperformed some other big altcoins like Cardano, BNB, Solana, in terms of that rolling average dollar volume. The XRP-BTC ratio even increased.
So strong trading performance. But what's interesting is when you look beyond the exchanges at the actual XRP ledger activity.
What's happening there?
Well, there's been a bit of a contraction. On-chain, total transactions fell by over 37%, and new wallet creation was down about 40%.
Oh, okay. So lots of trading on exchanges, but less happening directly on the network itself.
Kind of, yeah. It's a bit of a divergence. Makes you wonder how exactly people are using XRP right now. Is it mostly for trading speculation or...
Interesting contrast. Although you mentioned DeFi activity on the XRPL.
Right, that part held up a bit better. Decentralized finance, so things like trading directly on the blockchain, lending. DX volume only declined about 17%, which is less severe than the overall transaction drop.
Okay, so maybe more resilience in those specific DeFi applications.
Potentially. And also, Ripple's own stablecoin, RLUSD, that's grown. It's over $90 million in market cap now.
So some growth within the ecosystem, even if overall transactions are down.
Exactly. It suggests maybe a shift in focus, perhaps towards DeFi or stablecoin use cases on the ledger.
Got it. Okay, let's switch gears again to Stellar XLM, particularly looking at real-world asset tokenization. RWA.
Yeah, Stellar's been making some serious noise in the RWA space.
According to a recent ranking on RWA.xyz, Stellar actually grabbed the third spot for value locked in RWA.
That's right, about $475 million as of May 5th, only behind Ethereum and C-Sync Era.
Ethereum's way out front, of course, $6.5 billion, and Z-Sync with $2.2 billion. But third place is notable.
Very notable, especially because it puts Stellar ahead of platforms like Solana. Solana came in sixth with around $314 million.
So despite Solana often being talked about for speed and scalability.
Right. It suggests that maybe Stellar has specific advantages, or perhaps its network features are particularly attractive for these RWA projects right now. The pioneers in RWA seem to be showing a preference for Stellar over Solana, at least based on this value-locked metric.
That's a really significant development for Stellar's competitiveness in this specific area.
Absolutely. It shows they're carving out a strong position in a potentially massive growth sector.
And interestingly, while the XLM price itself dipped a little, about 4% in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, trading around CO 25 cents and 26 cents.
The trading volume for XLM actually jumped up quite a bit, almost 13%.
So increased trading interest, even with a slight price drop, adds another layer to the picture.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. What are the main takeaways here?
Well, if you look at it all, you see a really dynamic crypto landscape, right? You've got established players like XRP holding strong in trading volume, even if their on-chain metrics show some nuances. Then you have networks like Stellar making really significant gains in specialized high-growth areas like RWA, even overtaking major competitors in those niches.
And layered on top of that is the increasing involvement of, well, very high-profile figures like President Trump.
Exactly. Which signals crypto's growing mainstream relevance, but also brings all those ethical and regulatory questions we talked about to the forefront. It's complex.
It really is. The contrast within XRP, strong trading but softer on-chain use, and then Stellar's RWA growth despite a price dip, it just highlights how much is going on and how things aren't always straightforward.
Precisely. Lots of moving parts.
And that wraps up your quick rundown from Pyrocryptic X News. We touched on President Trump's crypto fundraising plans, XRP's steady trading volume versus its network activity, and Stellar's impressive climb in the RWA rankings, notably ahead of Solana.
Key trends shaping the market right now.
Definitely. Stay tuned to Pyrocryptic X News for more updates. It may be something for you to think about. As this technology gets more embedded in finance, even politics, what new kinds of market behaviors or maybe regulatory hurdles should we expect next?
Good question to ponder.